Hey everyone, it's CanadianJewel, also known as Jonathan. Thanks for coming to my channel and visiting and watching a couple of my videos. Really glad you're able to come and check them out. I'm loving the comments that everyone is posting on the videos that I've uploaded. And keep them coming, by all means. It's been really interesting to see how many different viewpoints and opinions have been made. So the reason I'm making this video is because I made a promise to a number of my subscribers that if I ever reached 3,500 subscribers, that I would post on YouTube my coming out story. I actually never thought that I would get 3,500 subscribers, and joke's on me because I actually have more than 3,500 subscribers. So I thought I was safe and I wasn't going to have to post another video, but I've had a lot of people who have been asking for not only more dialogue from myself, but a little bit more information about who I am as an individual. So I figured, why not? Let's see what we can do, and I will let you guys in on how I came out. So a little bit about me. I'm born and raised in Western Canada, specifically in Calgary, Alberta. I'm the youngest of 3 boys, and I have a very large extended family, including 7 stepbrothers and sisters. So my family is not small by any stretch of the imagination. So my coming out story starts at a very young age. I'm not going to say that I was necessarily self-actualizing at the age of like 8 years old, but I can honestly say that as a very young man, I always knew that there was something a little bit different about me. I was more interested in playing house and playing the mom as opposed to running around the house with my brothers playing cops and robbers. It just never interested me. And then as I got older, there was even more of an understanding that there wasn't necessarily something different about me, but that there was something very unique about me. You can't tell it in video, but I'm actually 6'5". So I'm not a petite person by any stretch of the imagination. And I spent a good number of years, including up until last week, having people come up to me and say, "Do you play basketball?" It drives me bonkers, just putting it out there. I was never interested in sports. I've always been interested in working with horses. I'm a Canadian national champion with horses. So I mean, that really was the most interest that I had in sports, and I still continue to be involved in the equestrian world. But that's about it. So anyway, coming back to the coming out stuff, don't worry, I will focus. I was 14 when I came out. But to be clear, I actually didn't tell any family members until I was 16. I had actually gone up to my family's cabin in northern Manitoba, and I was out there pretty much as on my own in some ways. I was staying with an aunt and an uncle and their 2 children, but I spent a great deal of time kind of on my own out in the back bush of northern Canada. I had my own boat that I was able to go out onto the deep lakes with, and I was able to basically do as I wished in the summer. And it was during that time that I was out actually on one of the lakes in that area, and I pulled into a small cove. I dropped anchor and I was sitting there and I was actually reading a book, and I put down the book, I was collecting my thoughts, and I was looking around, and for quite some time beforehand I had been thinking a lot about how I was feeling towards the men in my life that I had as friends. There was a lot of rationalization on my part for me saying, I'm not actually attracted to that guy, I'm just jealous of his body. I don't actually want to kiss that guy. It's more that I really want to be his friend. There's lots of things we do as we're coming out to try and rationalize the feelings that we're having, and I certainly went through every one of those emotions. But when I was on that boat, I was sitting and I was thinking about those rationalizations that I was making, and I said to myself, how hard would it actually be to say, I'm gay? even saying it in my head, I knew that I had touched on a nerve. And within a few minutes, I actually spoke out, I'm gay. And I'm not about to say that it was mystical or whimsical or anything beyond that. But my voice, because I hadn't been speaking, I had been reading, it actually echoed back to me. And so I heard my voice echo back, I'm gay. And it was at that point that I began the coming out process. It wasn't until I was 16 that I actually decided that I was going to tell any of my family members. There is a component of my coming out story that I won't include just because I don't think that it's particularly relevant. But I actually came out to my mother first. I was at her house and we were in the middle of an argument. I had been really disconnected from my family. I was dealing with a lot of anxiety, a lot of pressure, and I was just basically getting fed up with not being able to really exude who I wanted to be and live the lifestyle that I wanted to show to everybody. And so in the heat of an argument, my mother basically screamed at me. She's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I turned to her and I said, "You know what's fucking wrong with me? I'm fucking gay." Well, that killed the argument right there because my mother just went blank. And I immediately retracted what I had said to her. I flat out denied that I had said it to her. Again, it's that whole rationalization thing. It wasn't much longer after that, though, that I was having another argument with my parents about being disconnected and them wanting to understand what was happening in my life. I was already exploring my sexuality at that point, but I wasn't letting anyone in on it. So there was a lot of disconnection between myself and my family members, which is one of the most damaging parts of the coming out process, is basically blatantly lying about the person that you are to the people who should mean the most to you, and that we just don't want to hurt. So in the middle of an argument, my parents were asking me again what was wrong, and I told them what was wrong. My mother took it the hardest out of everybody. She took a long time to come around. My dad, actually, though, he was incredibly receptive. He took me to my first gay youth group. He told me that he was going to go for a coffee around the corner. And I actually went out of the gay youth group about halfway through to use the washroom. And my dad was hiding in the lobby and watching through the window, trying to see if he could see me. He was basically watching out for his little boy. My dad has been great about it. My mom is a lot better now. I told my oldest brother, who was not impressed with my sexuality, almost kicked the crap out of me, but luckily we're both big guys and we were able just to kind of wrestle it out, and we're great now. There isn't even a question about it. My middle brother was by far the best one to come out to. I told him that I was gay. He looked at me and said, "Cool, still love you, want to smoke a bowl." Pretty simple. So as that process began, I was able to come out more and more and more and more. And before I knew it, I was basically out to everyone in the family. Some took it better than others. Some ignored it for quite some time. But all things considered, it's actually been a really, really easy process for me. And I've had a lot of great successes with it. I'd have to say that the biggest part of coming out, if you are coming out right now, or if you have recently come out, just know yourself. You're the only one that you got. And I know that sounds kind of trite and a little bit contrived, just a little bit, but the reality is that you're the only person that you have. You come into this world alone, and you will go out of this world alone. And everything in between is when you walk beside someone else or others, and your paths just continue to cross. Whether it's a short time, whether it's a long time, you're still you. Always know who you are. Your self-discovery and your life's path will always be changing. And you have to be willing to not only accept that, but also to tell the world that you accept it and that you're celebrating in it. So that's pretty much my coming out story. I hope it wasn't too boring for anyone. By all means, please keep the comments coming. They have been nothing but wonderful. and I'm really looking forward to talking to you guys again soon. So thanks again for watching. My computer just decided to go into screensaver, so I'm gonna try and get out of that. Thanks again for watching. So despite the technical difficulties at the end, thank you for watching, and I will hopefully talk to you again soon.